Welcome to EIPIP Meeting 102. This is issue number 326 on ETH hurdles EIPIP GitHub repository. We have a few pull requests added here for discussion, which are edits to final proposal. There are a list of potential spam and some community proposals. Those have been added to issue on EIP GitHub repository. We'll take a look at call for input and discuss some of the earlier meeting decision or look into the progress where we are at. Starting with the first item, which is discuss open issues, PRs, and other topics. Here I have tried to consolidate a list of currently active pull requests for proposals which are already in final status. Sharing the first one, which is for ERC GitHub repository, the PR number is 304. I wonder what editors think about these pull requests.
I'm okay merging it. It's I went through it. It's just spelling corrections. So
Anyone not in favor of merging? Okay. The next one is PR number 317. That is for updating ERC 7231.
yep. So similarly, I'm okay with this one.
Very well. Moving on to the next one, which is PR number 367. This is for updating ERC 5585.
So this is changing a username again. Yeah, we probably need a call for input for this one. I can go and open that.
All right. I think there is a call for input open for something similar. We can bring it back for discussing when we are there. Or are we trying to consider individual call for input for individual pull request? Meaning, are we considering it case by case?
I think case by case makes the most sense.
Okay. Okay, so for this one, for PR 367, the decision here would be like you would be opening a call for input and will collect input.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. The next one listed here is PR 342, which is for updating ERC 2098.
All right. I haven't seen this one, so just give me 1 second. Yeah, I have no idea if this is valid or not. We'll need to wait for Rick Moo to comment.
Very well. The next one, I see that it is already closed, so we can skip this one. I've added a couple of potential spam. I don't know when I added, I was able to find this issue, but now it is a 404. The number is 8352 on EIP GitHub repository.
I think it only 404s if the user that opened it is marked as a spam account by GitHub.
Ah,
If it had
makes
been
sense.
if it had been closed by the opener or something, it wouldn't be 404.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Very well, that is already gone, so we can perhaps take a look into another one, that is 8371. I'm sorry, I think by mistake I wrote the wrong number. But the next one is 8371, which is again some kind of suggestion. It looks like spam, so
Yeah, I just deleted it.
perfect. Okay, one of our team contributor have created a pull request for RIP repository just to add some boilerplate in order to enable that repository to be functioning as we have EIP and ERC. So the user will be in a position to fetch data and be able to add it to eips.ethereum.org. But this is a pull request and that needs to be reviewed by RIP editor. I don't see anyone on the call here today. But yes, if anyone else gets a chance and may want to add any input or feedback, please feel free to take a look. And this is a pull request number 17 on RIP GitHub repository. Moving ahead, we have a.
Sorry,
Yeah, please go
that's
ahead.
for us to look at, or that's for RIP editors to look at?
I mean, either way, it would be helpful because this is just adding boilerplate to
Okay.
enable the RIP repository. I think because we have done work with EIP and ERC, both are going to be similar. So it would be nice if someone can take a look and add a review comment. That would also give confidence to RIP editors. I had a chat with one of the editor yesterday, but he's fairly new and is definitely looking for some support from this team. He could not join this meeting because of some holiday at his place. Hopefully, will be joining in future EIPIP meetings.
Sounds good.
Do we know if the boilerplate was just cut and pasted from another repo, like the EIP or ERC repo?
My best guess is it should be very much similar to EIP ERC repo, yes.
Okay.
I haven't reviewed the proposal. I mean the pull request here.
Looks like a giant copy paste from some Jekyll site with the exact same setup. I'm just trying to figure out how it would be reviewable.
Right. The idea is like, we want to have all those repositories because ERC was a fork of EIP. It has the exact set. So it was convenient to be used. But RIP was from the base. We would want that to be like on similar page. So it would be easier to pull out data from there. Feel free to add all your comments. If it feels like not a good pull request, we should not let them merge this one. But yeah, we could use some guidance here. Moving ahead, we have a bunch of community proposals added to issues section on EIP GitHub repository. I don't know how much we will be able to discuss here today, but just have added the entire list. The first one mentioned here is about living EIP. It's a proposal about living EIP. I wonder if people have any thought, they can share it right here or maybe add as a comment.
So what's Sam asking for here? They're asking for what? Just a way to link to an EIP or what?
It kind of feels like he's asking for a hash link or something.
But where? Like, yeah, I guess I can just ask that. So,
Made as a reference.
I mean, one way to easily do that is for the EIP to carry the last version of this particular EIP as a preamble or as a header. And so basically a permalink to it, and then you can click to go back, and then you can click to go back.
oh, it's like you can look at older versions of EIP1 kind of thing.
Yeah, so basically latest version will carry the previous version
Okay.
and so on. So basically as a header, as a preamble, as previous version, colon, a permalink.
So, if I understand this correctly, I mean, not exactly this, but how the proposals work on the GitHub repository here, we do have the history of all existing version. Like if we get into that double bracket kind of symbol, which is there next to the name of the proposal, we'll get into all history. And I'm not very sure, but this could be even solved with the proposal that we received earlier about versioning. In one of the comments to that proposal on FEM, I have mentioned that we can perhaps have the like version update number for all proposals, including living, of course.
That would definitely solve this problem as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So version update naively could be just the git commit, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, yes.
It almost sounds like what they're asking for is a uniform notation. Like it's kind of strangely worded, but it's like some identifier should be made as an optional reference. Passive voice. Not sure who gets to make one or who specifies the identifier syntax or something. But it sounds like the example given is like EIP 1 March 2024 should be there should be some standard way to write that, like EIP 1 some symbol. Like it sounds like a query parameter thing. It sounds like they want to be able to say yeah, and they even mentioned the commit specific GitHub URL as something not recommended by W3C, but they want something functionally equivalent to that or that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we just need some more information from Sam before we can deal with this.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Sounds good. Yeah, I just wanted to bring all these proposals here in this meeting so we can start interacting for proposals which are good and which can be implemented. Let's hope for some response and we'll look into it in the next meeting.
Sounds good.
The next one is another proposal for citation for EIPs. The issue number is 8292. I'm
Yeah,
sharing
I
all
mean,
the links here.
yeah, that one. It's a good idea. No objection from me.
I'm
It
in
would
favor
be
too.
it would be it would be good idea to have the next step mentioned for the proposal here. So he can like proceed with the proposal, make a respective PR, and then we can discuss the pull request.
Sure. Yeah.
Sam, are you typing that response
Yeah,
or
yeah, I
I
got
can
it.
type that? Oh,
Yeah,
you
I
got
can
it.
do
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very well. Okay, so the next one here is with respect to EIPs and ERC split. I think there were some recent comment added by William in Triton. Yeah, what people think about it.
I think he wants to clarify that our intention is to finish up the split, which I understand. And given our consensus, I agree that we should proceed with split, and a large part of it is done. He identified specific task list. I think we should review whether these are good tasks, reasonable to be an open item. Sam, what's your view on that?
I mean, I'm still holding out for some kind of agreement on working groups, so all of this would be already done over there, I think.
Oh, okay. So your plan is to wait for the working group splits or working group set establishment, and then come back to revisit this work plan. Is that a good understanding?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think everything here, yeah, everything here is taken care of already in the EIPS WG repo. So yeah, it would just be once we get editors to agree on moving to working groups, then all of this would be taken care of already.
Okay, reasonable. Do you want me to like leave that message? I'm in agreement with you
Yeah, I
that
can
it
do
should
it here.
wait for that.
Yeah, I'll leave a comment to that.
Okay.
Very well. So the next one here is add last updated information to EIP ERC page, which is issue number 8282. Is it similar to what we have just discussed about the versioning?
Yeah, actually, that is something else that's already taken care of in the working group stuff. So I can leave a comment to that effect as well.
Okay, sounds good.
I
Yeah,
think
sorry,
it's
that's a
different,
rather
Sam.
unsatisfying answer, but
Oh, I'm sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, that sounds good anyway. Yeah, I mean, as long as all these proposals are receiving comments from editors or whatever people think they are receiving updates is good. So we can move it forward, like whatever is the next step, people can think about it, or if there is something already being done in parallel, which will take care of it, at least they will be satisfied. So yes, that's helpful.
Sam, I think the request in the last link, which is 8282, does not involve split between EIP and ERC or establishment with work group. I think they're asking if they can automatically or manually add last change date of an EIP.
yes. So
Uh,
it's not like part of the split. Just that feature is already implemented in my demo.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Of last updated, last
Yeah.
update.
Yep. Exactly. So
So
like
it
if
can
you
be
yeah
it
here
can be closed. The issue can be closed as already done, just waiting to release, right?
again, if we decide to go with my implementation, it can be closed. I don't want to just straight up close it because
Okay.
yeah.
I love to use your reference implementation. This seems to be a very useful thing.
Maybe maybe if the feature they're asking for is already in the draft repo, like the EIP working group repo, you could be, it wouldn't be too cheeky to link to like the specific line where it's implemented in, you know,
Yeah, I can do that.
Jekyll or whatever, and then say this is currently in draft. Here's where you can go vote on it, or like show support. Because I don't. Yeah, I think it's fine to let people know that like this working group split governance is blocking just the operational stuff. Like there's already a draft that would solve this. Just point them to how they vote is what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if there is possibility to decouple that. It seems that it doesn't have to depend on the working group split. It can actually be useful for both, right? For both EIP and ERC.
Yeah.
As long as we can come into a consensus, like this consensus doesn't depend on the split or anything.
Right. If the split is rejected, then the same link to the GitHub example could be copied separately by two different the governors of two different repos.
Very well. Since this has been already taken care of, let's move on to the next one, which is issue number 8269. It's something suggesting abolishing IPv4 and IPv6.
Proposed change of what?
Oh, this is somebody who wants to be opening. Yeah.
Based Ethereum address, decentralized IP address.
Yeah. So is this supposed to be a?
I think so how did you, this is a worthy question. How do you envision solve it? IPv6 is
Yeah, I really have no idea. Like, this sounds like it's supposed to be an EIP.
it's supposed to
Yeah.
be an RFC. Let's put
Okay.
it that way.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm just gonna close it with a little comment, and they can. Yeah.
Maybe take the idea to Fellowship of Ethereum Magician, collect some input there, and if this looks like a potential proposal, they can eventually come up with the proposal.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very well. This covers all the proposals listed here for today's discussion. Moving on to call for input. Okay, I had this one big question for editors joining this call. How to lower the number of open issues and pull requests. I was just trying to take a look at the chart that I created based on the EIPS insight of all open issues and pull requests since January. Past 3 months, it doesn't seems to be getting lower. It's getting higher. So we might want to maybe consider something or any suggestion on this part.
I'm not sure how to handle this problem. Like, I try to edit as much as I can, and I've been mentoring somebody else to hopefully add as an EIP editor eventually. But I don't know what the like. I don't know what we're supposed to do to review these things faster.
I think there is several things that could help. One is that it's a little bit hard for me to kind of maintain a pipeline of things that I already started looking into. I kind of have to do search all the time. And also, I think it would be helpful if we can have some kind of way to prioritize, come up with a way to prioritize certain ERCs. Like these ERCs seems to be more like reasonable to prioritize if we have scarce attention. So for the second one, I am currently thinking of like reaching out to people and constantly ask if they want to like notify, like if they haven't want to flag some of these existing ERCs as more as more prioritized to their view. Maybe at some point I will ask them in a more open space. I've been reaching out to editors, to authors as well, to get them respond on the Ethereum FEMs and also invite them to the all ERC devs. And hopefully whoever engage more actively means that they're actively authoring, and then we can also prioritize based on how responsive they are in terms of authoring. So that's my 2 cents. Love to hear feedback, advice.
So I have noticed on the ERC side, we are receiving a bunch of new proposals, which I understand if it is reviewed and receive editor's comment, that would be on authors to continue working on that. We are taking a lot of proposals or a lot of pull requests in editing office hour, and I understand Sam is already trying to respond to each one of them based on like whoever who like authors who are behind it, they want to join the meeting and they want to talk about it. So the major input or the major roadblocker on ERC side are the new proposals which require a thorough review before it could be merged. But on the EIP side, if we notice, there are mostly updates. We receive very few new proposals, but even if they are open for quite some time. So I'm just wondering, is there a way we can speed up the updates, not the new proposal? I mean, like, I understand new proposal will require more time to be reviewed.
I
I
think
think assigning, sorry, go ahead.
I think as long as people uh, basically are doing something with the updates and editor has reviewed it at some particular moment, it is fine.
I'm not sure if that can be merged directly if the updates are there. Or can it be?
So if it's in the draft status and people are pushing on draft, I think it's auto merging. And if, for example, someone else, if there is a author change, then it lingers on.
Oh, it doesn't get merged automatically?
So drafts, if you push on drafts, it get merged automatically. Yeah. For example, if
Okay.
I am an author and the status is draft, and I basically push on a draft, I create a PR on draft. As soon as the CI is green, it gets merged.
Okay, so it's not broken. At least that's good.
Yeah, so I think the only open updates that I've seen mostly are about status changes, or they are about adding some author to it, which is okay.
And I see some changes are being pushed even for the final proposals, which are like kind of fixing reference test. I'm just taking an example here. This is pull request number 8390, which is for an EIP 152. That's currently in the final status. It seems like the author is trying to update reference test here. Small PR. I'm not sure the utility right now, but how do we deal about these? Do we need to invite the authors to maybe approve them and that gets into merge, or because these are already final proposals?
Sorry, what was the question again?
So how do we want to approach the final
Oh, yeah.
proposal, like pull request for
Yeah.
EIPs in final status here?
I think if it's a trivial change, like it's an obvious typo, just merge it as an editor. And if it's anything that's possibly controversial, open a call for input. That's kind of what I think on those.
It doesn't seems to belonging to either of the category. So it's like adding some of the reference test.
Yeah, it's possibly controversial, so open a call for input.
This is the final one, right?
It is.
Exactly, yeah. If it's
And
final,
they're extending bits in a test case. For that, are we talking about 8390 issue pull request?
That's right, yes.
Confusing. It declares. Oh, okay. All right, yeah, I think that's okay. We should be able to accommodate that. Should we make a call for request? Call for input?
Yeah, I think so. If we're modifying a final EIP and it's not like trivial, we should probably open a call for input.
Oh, okay. Should we ask them to do it or should we do it?
Yeah, whatever's easier. Like if you don't mind making it, just make it for them, and then it's easier.
Okay, I can help them make that. I need your template though. I love the way how you make all call for input. I couldn't make that table.
Oh, sure.
Can you if you have added access, can you add an issue template there? So it's
Oh, is there
easier
an
for us
issue
to
template?
open.
Yeah, I was about to
Uh,
suggest that. Can
it-
we make it? Yeah, can we
Oh, that'd
make
be
it an issue
great.
template?
Yeah. I've
You
never
will
done that.
need, yeah, somebody need to give Sam the edit permission. I don't have. So if someone can help with that, that'd be great.
I think Sam, you should have the permissions, but in case you do not, then please do let me know.
Yeah, I don't think I do.
Okay,
I
I will take a
can't.
look into it.
Yeah.
I'll update it later today.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'll wait for that to start the pull request to the call for input. I'll put it in my to-do list.
All right, so that was some open questions with respect to open issues and pull requests. We hope to see this number getting down because now we have already reached to the mark of 100, which is like before we enter into exact 3-digit, let's try to handle this as soon as possible. With that, we can perhaps move on to call for inputs. I see the first 3 call for inputs are already closed. So we have added the result. Since we could not meet 2 weeks earlier, I have just added the result here for people to follow. And we can perhaps discuss some of the new call for inputs which were open in the past 2 weeks. I see the first one listed here is number 320 initiated by Gajendra, if I'm correct. Issue number 320. Would you like to maybe provide background and yeah, where we are on?
It's not really initiated by me, but yeah, I read in that. So I think it's initiated by Sam.
Yeah, right. Sorry.
So
I'm
just
in strong favor.
Sorry, I lost my my mute button there. We were looking at 317.
issue 320.
320.
Oh, 320. Okay. Yeah. So, somebody wants to make a link to capes. I'm kind of against it because they haven't been around for 10 years, and I'm concerned about giving legitimacy to standards organizations as opposed to just copying their documents. I don't know if anybody else has any thoughts on the topic.
I'm in strong favor of allowing link there. You know my stance.
I mean, 10 years is a big time in this industry, and even Ethereum has not been around for that time. So, or has it?
I mean, it's been around for at least a couple years now.
5.
Yeah.
But sorry, I'm having bad audio. I didn't understand. Was the question just how long it's been around, or I guess my question about the legitimacy thing is like, that's very much a value judgment that I support the EIP editors not making, but I feel like it's sort of required by the process of having to approve one by one authorities or domain names.
Yeah, so like officially, the only objection I have is on the length of time it's been around. Unofficially, I'm concerned about giving legitimacy to standards bodies that we don't necessarily think are legitimate, but that's kind of an off the books objection. I won't like hold up the process based on that. Like if Gajinder and Victor, you both think that capes have been around long enough and you feel like they're, available, then we can go ahead and approve this call for input.
I'm not really particular about this particular thing. In general, I'm of the opinion that maybe we should be more welcoming and allowing as much as we can, given they meet certain criteria, and criteria shouldn't be 10 years. I mean, this is quite tough criteria. Criteria should be in terms of they are not fraud, and the content there is not bogus. I think if basic sanity can be met, then probably we should try to allow as many links as possible, and then basically it will also uh, not people will also not infer legitimacy from it, because if our stated policy is to allow most of the things and only to gatekeep what we think is bogus and bad, uh, it won't basically act as a stamp of approval to these bodies.
That makes sense. So I guess the only official rules question left to answer is, do you think these links will stop working eventually, or do you think they'll be around for the long term?
Correct.
I'm less concerned about the link stability here. There's Internet Archive and other tooling and IPFS we can help use to kind of ensure the link stability. Even ERCs are now in a danger of removing itself. We end up having to move things. So yeah, I generally am in favor of opening up more flexibility for authors to link. I feel that
So-
being able to link is important for authors to think and also to welcome interoperability.
So you're both raising the points that are kind of different. Like you're arguing that our links policy should be changed, and I'm asking, does this link meet our current policy? So if you guys say that you don't think these links are going to disappear, then we can merge this right now. If you guys want to open a discussion about changing our link policy, that's a different discussion.
Yeah, so I haven't actually looked into this particular thing, so I won't basically say that this is okay or this is not. I mean, I would basically rely on someone else's input on it.
So EIP 5757 is our policy for links. As long as we meet the three requirements, there you can link to a particular version. It has a history of availability and it's free to read, then we can link to it. So as long as the both of you say that it meets those three criteria, we can have these links.
I don't see any reason that they don't for now. But yeah, if there's any concern, I'm happy to kind of help to talk to them to them to see if they can be resolved.
Yeah, I said I don't know this organization, so I don't have a particular opinion on this. I was just trying to chime in general.
You do know that if the domain names are having a limit of renewal for 10 years, so requiring something to be 10-year, it probably needs update. We need to update our policy, but yeah.
Yeah, so the policy says it is a sufficient but not necessary. So like we can if it's existed for 10 years, we can say that it'll probably exist for another 10 years, but it's not necessary to have it exist for 10 years. It's kind of like a guideline.
If you want to have case by case, I think there's no reason for us to believe it wouldn't exist for 10 years. If you want the general concept, I think the only thing I know about Ethereum that has lasted for more than 10 years is yellow paper, and it started to become deep deprecated in our policy. So I don't think anything actually lasts 10 years if you want to look at it.
Yeah, exactly. We can, so I'm hearing that both of you want to merge this and that both of you, either Gajinder, you don't know it well enough to argue the specific points, and Victor, you think that it has existed long enough and you think it's going to exist forever. Is that kind of a reasonable summary of?
I agree. Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think you summarized my opinion right.
Cool. Well, then I am fine with this.
Thank you.
So does this mean that we are going to add CAIP to the list of
Yep.
links that we are allowing? Perfect. All right. Moving on to the next one, which is the issue number 325 at ETH Catheters. It's again started by Sam Wilson. Sam, would you want to maybe provide a summary of that?
Sure thing. So this is changing author's username in 1193, if I'm correct.
That's right, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think I'll just read through this and we like decide what the consensus is. So we have me, we have like client in favor. Victor, what's your thoughts on this?
I'm generally in favor of
Okay.
allowing editor, allowing author update them regardless how we generate that consensus. And if we go with what like client you want, I think at discretion, I'm in favor of it. If we can go even further, we can publish a policy and go by that policy. That's even better. But yeah, let's allow authors to go for it.
Okay, and reading your comment, Kajinder, it sounds like you are okay updating this as well, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So the decision is in favor of the proposal and it will be merged. Is that correct understanding?
Yep.
Perfect. And it seems like, and also Victor just mentioned that he is in favor of having some general policy around it. And from the last meeting, 101, I don't know if there was some call for input to be created. Victor, do you want to take that one as well?
Yeah, I think a general my feeling is that it would be better for us to kind of declare why we agree to update their username. And for me is because authors should hold that power. We just facilitate that. And if we can agree on that kind of policy, then we can take that as a policy. If we cannot, then I'm okay that we back down to at discretion. But I can see that one of our contributor, AD, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Our weekly news editor. I never try to pronounce. Yeah, AB.
I say ABC.
ABCO. Oh, yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I think he has a strong opinion to not have no policy. Like he wants to have a policy, and I think I can resonate with that a lot. So I like to discuss with you guys.
I understand this is not directly affecting the response or the result for issue number 325. But if you would like to maybe go ahead and create a call for input, which was recommended in an earlier meeting, we can perhaps take it better in that. I mean, like we can collect feedback response in that one and
I
discuss
did.
it in future. Oh, you already did?
I did. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I'm sorry that I probably forget to include that in today's meeting agenda because it was open 2 weeks ago.
Can you please number that?
Yeah, I just put the link
329.
here.
Oh, it's
329.
already listed. Oh, I have updated it. It's already listed. Okay. We'll get there then.
So I am in favor of option 3. I think Sam, you don't want to create you want to remain using a consensus H1 time.
Yep.
And then bargender, I think your response is simple reject. I don't fully understand what that is. Can you help me understand?
Why do we want to update the author list again? I mean, I think we have been through a particular kind of this PR where we
Oh,
have
you mean just don't let people update their name at all?
no update their name, but not the change the list of authors.
Oh, so don't let people add or remove authors, but let them change their username.
Yeah, I mean, if it's simple to verify it's the same person.
Yeah, okay.
So no new author, no removal of authors, but it's okay to update their name, it's okay to update their handles,
Yeah, I guess
right?
because for example, as somebody mentioned on that other PR that someone else has taken up their handle, and if that happens, then it is basically a bit. So basically, misrepresentation has already happened. If and we should or that author should be allowed to correct that.
Okay, I think I can agree with you on that. I'm fine either way. So I can second you on that. My first question for you is, do you think that it would be approved by discretion, editor discretion or consensus, or do you think it would be authors?
It can't be author because there needs to be a maker checker principle over here. So maker can't be the checker here.
Maker cannot be the checker, but the other people, if they have other people on that author list, can validate them.
I mean, it's sort of outsourcing the tasks that we have and making it easier. And anyway, we will rely upon social consensus to actually figure out whether it's the same person or not. Uh, so maybe it's okay.
So am I hearing it right that if the group of authors says that that is the right handle to update, we should just approve it. We don't
Yeah.
need like
Otherwise,
editor discretion.
I mean, unless editor sees something fishy, then maybe they can sort of ask for more proof. But in general, yeah, there is no other way. I mean, we can't go and do a KYC of the person, right? So we have to rely on social consensus for this.
I mean,
Okay, yeah, I
like
agree with you.
if we use a call for input, each editor can use whatever criteria they want to make the determination. So like if I want to, send an email to the person and make sure that they confirm the change is correct, or if I want to talk to all the other authors and make sure they all agree, like then I can use that to inform my vote on the call for input. Like I think that's easy enough because like I'm not like for example if all the authors on a pull request say hey I want to change this person's username but I email the person and the person says they don't want to change their username I'm going to follow what the email says and not what the rest of the authors say.
Yep, that probably makes sense.
Okay, that's fine. I can see the concern there. So you mean you want to make it still a editor consensus?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I don't think we need to special case this any more than we already do. Like everybody we make a call for input, everybody puts their opinion in and then we decide how to handle the author username change.
Okay, I am a little bit concerned, but I'm okay to not insist. If you both want it that way, I can say we agree that it will be call for inputs. Victor reserved opinion.
Um, like we'll just follow this like we do for all the other calls for input. So on April 29th, I'll look at this issue and then make a call based on what comments people have left. Um, and I think that's
And in that case, I'm going to say if the authors want to add an author, I can still have the rights to allow that, right?
you can make a call for input and we can talk about it absolutely.
Okay, yep.
Yeah. So it's like for things that are not controversial, like for example, like fixing an obvious typo, we don't need a call for input. But for things that you think might be controversial, you should make a call for input. Otherwise, you'll piss people off.
Sometimes it's hard to know whether
Yeah,
it's,
no, I know, I know.
yeah. I guess we can do this. If someone wants to do it, we can kind of go ahead and do it unless two people raise their concern, and then that's an obvious controversy.
So you're proposing a change to our like decision-making process, or specifically just
am
for this?
Never mind. I was thinking that our attention together is very scarce, and then anything that we put on that require our call for input would just hold our operation. And let's say if we have more time, we should be unblocking the split. So we shouldn't be discussing the username updates for like 3 consecutive EIP meeting while holding the other things that you probably think more important on hold. And especially you put in tremendous time to implement this EIPW and all toolings, and then you're waiting for other people to approve it. I'm 100% in favor of like moving forward.
But how frequent do you think that these are gonna be? I think it's going to be very sparse.
It's like we get 20 after an airdrop, and then it stops until the next airdrop.
It will come more often, given the protocol guild approach has become a common thing, and I think it would come more often. But it's okay. If it comes up more times and then we realize it's a blocker, we'll definitely bring up and discuss it again.
Sounds good. So I think we're looking at 327 now. Call for input change solidity in 7201. It's changing a tiny bit of solidity. Please leave your comments on the CFI. I'm just going to go quickly here because we already discussed 329. 331, what is this one? So 331 is another change of username one. Yeah, please just leave your comments on it, and I'll sort that out on May 2nd. And then we have the last one, which is typo correction PR. So this is whether we merge 8254 or not. So again, leave your comments on those pull requests, or issues rather, and that's it for call for inputs.
And Sam, if you may check your permissions, I hope you should be able to create a template for like going forward, people can just use the issue template to create this call for input.
Okay, I'll take a look. Thanks.
Very well, we are about time. I would just quickly take a look at if there are any pending action items. We have updated the Hackenby for EIPS Insight for this month, and we already have discussed the increase in PR number. We will perhaps take a look in the next meeting if there is a way to bring it down. From the earlier meeting, there was this one, just trying to check. Item number 5, there is an action item for updating ERC 7201 fixed solidity formula. Sam Wilson will create a call for input for this pull request. Wondering if we have covered this or this is yet to be created.
Yep, that's created.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, it's 327.
Okay, very well. And I think Victor's one is 329, which is again coming from the earlier meeting. So we are good with that. And that covers almost everything. especially the main items on the agenda. Thank you everyone for joining us here. We hope to see you in 2 weeks, and please feel free to add any action item or any issue that people would like to discuss in future meetings. I will create the agenda right after this meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Pooja. Thanks everyone for coming.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Talk to y'all soon.